Hey everybody, good morning. Okay, this is strictly for New York City people. Pay attention to this, please, before you cast your vote for the mayor of New York City, Mamdani or Cuomo or Swilo. Although Swilo is like way down there, he's got no shot. Unless Cuomo and the other, if Swilo, you got no shot unless Cuomo were to drop out. And Cuomo's not dropping out. Now, Schwilo should have been dropping out since he's not won. He's run every year since he's been legally allowed to run, and he's never won. Why is that? Anyway, Zorhan Mandami, the man who refuses to condemn shria law or denounce shria law or denounce any of these hate groups like Hezbollah, about globalizing Antifada, and I'm saying that wrong, I know I am, Antifada. I don't know how to say it, but the point is all of these things he has yet to denounce. Now, this reporter is asking him about the globalized Antifa thing, and guess what? He doesn't answer, he dances around it.
If it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the Intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that have meaning.
Yet he still did not condemn it, nor did he denounce it.
To be applied to all
didn't
people,
really
and
answer the
Israelis
question. He kind of
But
danced
do you
around
actually
it.
condemn it? I think
That's
the
why
question and the
she brings the
outstanding
question
issue that a
again,
number of
because he
people
still
who are
didn't do
Jewish
it.
faith and beyond have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the Intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me.
No, he has not. Jewish New Yorkers, I don't think, like him.
Especially in light of the horrific attacks that we've...
He's a fibber, I think. And what I mean by that is he's a snake oil salesman. He'll tell you anything, and he looks real nice saying it, and he says it so educationally sounding, and he sounds so educated and so, so good about what he's saying. Everything sounds so perfect, and you gotta ask yourself, though, if it's so perfect, why does Cuomo have any support? Think of that. Now, Cuomo, I grant you, wasn't perfect as the governor of New York. He wasn't. He wasn't a perfect governor. But he was able to do the job. And he did it well for many years. And it was just at the end where they started having these issues. Now, this dude, Mamdani, has yet to denounce shria law. Oh, and just so you guys know, in case you don't know what shria law is I believe it's a law that radical Muslims, radical Islamic people, radical, not all Muslims are like that, because there are many, many, many who are very sweet people, very loving people, and would denounce this kind of behavior. Okay, what I'm saying is there are the radicals, like Mamdani, because he practices something called, and I can't say it, it's like Antica or something. It's basically like the radical form of Islam. And he would believe in shira law. And just so you guys know, if you don't know what shira law is, I'll tell you now. You steal, not that you should be stealing something that doesn't belong to you, but if you steal and you get caught, your punishment doesn't become jail time. You lose a hand permanently. Women cannot leave their home without a male companion and without being covered from head to toe. The only thing that shines through are their eyes, and they could barely see through those things, I heard. Now, I don't know enough about shria law to talk extensively about it. I just know that it's radical, and they have shria courts and everything else. So the law, our laws, will no longer exist. And they make up their own laws. That's what it is, basically. So you could say goodbye and LGBT plus community in New York, go into hiding. Because have you watched anyone from Palestine? Have you listened to anyone from Palestine talk? They do not agree and will not condone that lifestyle choice or that lifestyle. There was a video I watched on YouTube by, what's his name? Talon, the Traveling something or other. He's one of the guys I subscribe to. Anyway, point is he's from Israel, and he talks extensively about a lot of topics, about the war that happened, about Hamas, about Iran, about all of this. And I heard that from him. All of the radicalness that comes into play. So they do not. They basically say, if we find out, you get pulled into shira court. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's 100% true or accurate. Like I said, I don't know enough about it to talk extensively about it. And I don't like talking extensively about topics that I don't know about. But this man here, Zohran Mamdani, is a snake oil salesman. He's selling you on lies. And he knows they're lies. Like the whole raising the tax on richer, whiter neighborhoods, as he put it. One, that was a disgusting thing to say. And two, he can't do that legally. Because Kathy Hochul already made it known that she's not raising taxes. And he cannot make laws for the entire state of New York. He can only control New York City. And now, does it mean that New York City's laws don't eventually affect the rest of New York? It does. But, so the rest of New York is really hoping you go with Cuomo instead of this dude. And early start voting starts today. The rest of New York don't get to vote in your local election because we're not from the city. So we don't get to say who becomes your mayor. We only get to say who becomes our legislators, state governor, things like that. But the rest of New York is begging you, New York City, don't do this to us. Let's get back to this.
Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%.
Where's that money coming from? 800% increase in the funding. Considering that Trump is cutting funding on everything, and all of New York's money has been going towards illegal immigrants, where exactly is the money coming from? Because he can't increase taxes. We've already learned that. So where's that money coming from?
I don't believe that the role...
He's going to take it from programs that real Americans need. Like, I don't know, Subway, I don't know. And drop it into that. That's the only thing I can think he would do, is either raise funding for it, or, which I don't know if that's illegal or not, because I don't know the law like that, but he's either going to raise funding for it, because New York State doesn't have that or New York City doesn't have that kind of funding for that kind of stuff, where you can just, if they did, don't you think Adams would have done it, or the mayor before him, or the mayor before him? Think about that, guys. This money that he's imagining has to come from somewhere. And it's not going to come from the federal government, especially since he's openly said he's fighting Trump. And now AOC's on his side. AOC? Y'all know what she's like.
The mayor is to
Come
police
on.
speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime.
Mahmoud Khalil should have been deported. He lied on his immigration paperwork. He was a radical activist. Was shown to be trafficking, was pulled over for, I guess, trafficking? I don't know. I mean, how? And this man supports that. That's what I'm saying. These people don't care about us. He doesn't care about actual New Yorkers. And no, illegal immigrants are not New Yorkers. They were just dropped here. They're not New Yorkers until they become citizens. Now, if they become an American citizen, they're then a New Yorker. If they're living in New York or a Californian. But until they become legal, they're not New Yorkers. But guess what? All of those illegals get to vote because of people like him get to vote in the local elections. So, of course, they're all going to vote for Mamdani because he guarantees that he's going to fight Trump on everything. Well, guess what? Then that's all going to do is cause chaos in our streets. New York City, the military will be dropping in. I mean, he even threatened to throw Netanyahu and Putin in jail. I want to see this man throw Vladimir Putin in jail. Because guess what would happen? We'd be thrown into a nuclear event because of him.
I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out.
I don't believe him. Don't believe him. He lies like the 4th of July. You could see it in his eyes. Look into his eyes and ask him. And New Yorkers, here, you know what? Don't take my word on it. Don't take my word on it. Go to him. Ask him, do you denounce shria law? Because to my knowledge, he has yet to do that. As a matter of fact, he even made the statement during his campaign that he wants to remake New York in his people's image. What the hell does that mean?
And ultimately, we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment.
Don't believe him, Jewish New Yorkers. Because a lot of them don't believe him.
Through the work that I do.
But very quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language.
In other words, he won't condemn it no matter what she says. She's now done it 30 times where she's tried to get him to condemn globalizing Antifa. And Antifada, or whatever it's called. Anyway, point is, he won't denounce it. He won't condemn it. Just like he won't condemn shria law. Why? Because he practices takiti, whatever it's called.
I believe is permissible or impermissible.
I can't look it up because I'm on my phone recording, so I'll look it up later.
Takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing it.
He's already trying to cause problems. I mean, he did not throw Mahmoud Khalil in jail for writing an op-ed. No. He did it because he lied, and it wasn't him, it was ICE. He lied on his application. Did you look in his Mamdani knows that that's not true. And he's using it as a player. Mahmoud Khalil should have been deported. And if he's not made illegal, he needs to get deported. If you're not in the country legally, bye-bye. Or get deported or become legal. Why is that so hard? I don't have a problem with any immigrants. But there needs to be law and order. And all this man wants to do is give everything to the illegal immigrants, give nothing to actual New Yorkers, and basically scam us.
Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for...
You can't condemn Antifada, globalizing Antifada, which means you are that's an anti-Semitic hate group. And you can't condemn it? Really? Because it's not language you like? BS. This man is not a New Yorker. He is an implant. And he is just trying to get in power so he can start implementing his master plan, which is remaking New York in his people's image, as he put it. Don't know what he means by that, but I mean, have you guys, I think it's Michigan that has a whole, Dearborn, Michigan, that has a whole town that people are constantly fighting the local government because of a committee like this guy. Because now all of their places, and like I said, I don't have a problem with anybody practicing their religion, but when it's disturbing to other people, other things need to be taken into consideration. Now, I don't care about his faith. What I care about is his snake oil salesman won't condemn Antifada, won't condemn Hezbollah, won't condemn shria law, all the things that Americans stand for. Well, I condemn Hezbollah. I condemn globalized Antifada. I condemn any hate. I condemn any groups that show hate towards any other groups. I condemn radical shira law. See how easy that is? And yet he can't do it.
The city through my words and my actions.
At the core of Mamdani's campaign and AOC's terrible...
And by the way, give a shout out to Kevin 24x7 on YouTube. Show him the love, show him the respect, give him the like, give him the subscribe. And while you're at it, you can like and subscribe here too. I'm almost to 80 and we will go live once we get there. Thanks, guys.
Albeit impassioned speeches lies a glaring contradiction because, well, you see, they celebrate New York's immigrant legacy while vilifying the very success it bred. I mean, just think of what New York would be or wouldn't or would have become if everyone who entered through Ellis Island simply held their hand out, wanted everything, worked for nothing, took everything for free.
We wouldn't have survived. The economy would have been done.
To then protect them and their laziness. But AOC's rally cry in Queens paints a very selective picture. Cherry picking, leveraging, and lauding Irish, Jewish, Black, Latino, and Asian immigrants for building the city, yet conspicuously omitting groups like Italians who fled fascism to contribute to New York's rise. This
That was my husband.
Storytelling fuels division, paints white people as the enemy, and ignoring the universal truth of the city's foundation of
Preach,
hard work,
my brother.
not handouts. Immigrants didn't build New York by waiting for freebies. They toiled, sacrificed, died, trying to achieve the American dream.
Amen.
Life, liberty,
And the pursuit of happiness.
Yet, the socialist vision peddled by Mamdani and AOC dismisses this historic grit proposing instead a system that taxes success to subsidize dependency.
Look, Donald Trump ran on 3 promises. He ran on creating the single largest deportation force in American history. He ran on
did that.
going after his political enemies, and he ran on
No, he
lowering
didn't.
the cost of living. If he wants to talk to me
And
about
he's
the
doing
third
that.
piece of that agenda, I will always be ready and willing. But if he wants to talk about how to pursue the first and second piece of that agenda at the expense of New York,
you're going to fight ICE. You're going to fight the police. You're going to fight our president. You, sir, do not deserve to be mayor of the heartbeat of America. You, sir, should be thrown out of New York. Go to California and run. We don't want this nonsense here. The rest of New York is begging New York City, don't make this man mayor.
we'll fight him
Please.
every single step of the way.
Of course you will. Even though we, the American people, want this, you'll still fight Trump. What part of this don't you understand? The illegal population is not who votes. Well, actually, you know what? I'm wrong. They do vote for people like you because they're allowed to vote in local election because it's a sanctuary city, which it shouldn't be. If you're not an American city, you shouldn't have the right to vote, and you should be made to be either become legal or out. It's that simple. People came over across Ellis Island. Guess what? They became legal citizens. They worked hard. They busted their butts. They did what they had to do for the American dream. And he just wants to give a handout. And guess what? That money has to come from somewhere. And when he becomes mayor, most of rich New York will leave. Because I know quite a few New Yorkers who are packing already, including myself.
Okay.
Because I'm not being charged for this lunatic to be mayor for 4 years and destroy or whatever the mayor office is. I don't know if it's 2, 4, 8. I don't know. But either way, point is this dude is going to destroy New York State. I'm getting out of New York State before that happens.
I just want to speak directly to the president, which is that I will not be a mayor like Mayor Adams who will call you to figure out how to stay out of jail. I won't be a disgraced governor like Andrew Cuomo who will call you.
A disgraced governor. He did a better job than you have ever done. You don't have any work experience. What have you done? Built a rap song? Made a rap song? Ooh.
To ask how to win this election. I can do those things on my own.
No, you can't. The only way you can do that is by lying to the American people, by lying to the New York City people that live there. That's the only way. Because if you told the truth about who you really are, I guarantee New Yorkers, unless they're libtards, they're not voting for you. Simply because you won't denounce Hezbollah, you won't denounce shria law, you won't denounce globalize intifada or condemn it.
Will, however, be a mayor who's ready to speak at any time to lower the cost of living.
And you won't lower the cost of living. You're only going to increase it because that money has to come from somewhere. All this government-run groceries. How are you doing that? Exactly. Government-run? When the president didn't say he was okay with that. You're not going to get the funding from him. So where are you going to get this funded from? Oh, I know. Making 52% tax across the board for everybody. Guess what? Kathy Hochul said, no. So where's that money coming from? Because rich New York is leaving the moment he becomes mayor. I guarantee you, you're going to see major multi-billion-dollar companies running out of New York.
That's the way that I'm going to lead.
I think it was Morgan and Morgan. I don't remember. There's a couple big companies, multi-billion-dollar companies that already left New York in anticipation of him.
The city. That's the partnership I want to build, not only with Washington, D.C., but anyone across this country. I think it's important because too often the focus on the needs of working class Americans, working class New Yorkers are put to the side.
Folks, this isn't about lowering the cost of living as Mamdani claims. This is about something far worse. and they aren't telling people the truth behind their
As I said, he says it so much more eloquently than I ever could.
devious plans, this plot. But the hypocrisy deepens when you consider their scapegoating of the wealthy, because all they do is point fingers at billionaires as the root of inequity and inequality, ignoring that many of these fortunes were built by the very same immigrant hustle they claim to champion. Uh, yeah, you remember those Irish, Jewish, Black, Latino, and Asian immigrants they talked about?
Jews escaping the Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos,
What she doesn't even understand is all of those, Jim Crow was a Democrat. All those people that kept that power, they were all Democrats.
a better life, Native people standing for themselves.
She's... Do not believe this woman. She doesn't even tell the truth about where she was born. She tried to say she's a New Yorker. She's not a New Yorker. She was born outside of New York City.
In Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx.
Oh, isn't that where she's supposedly from? The Bronx? She's not. That came out.
In this country.
Now take Timothy Mellon, a billionaire who quietly wired $130 million to the U.S. Department of Defense to ensure military families were paid during a Democrat-led government shutdown. This act of patriotism, ensuring troops' salaries, is the kind of contribution Mamdani supporters overlook while decrying the rich.
Because they don't want people to know that people like this exist. Oh, he's a billionaire. So he made sure our men and women in the military that are protecting our sovereignty, yes, they protect our sovereignty. Do you know what would happen if we didn't have the military people? Do you know what would happen? We would be invaded immediately and taken over. You libtards amaze me that you don't even see the biggest picture of all. With ICE, with all of this, we need law and order. When you were growing up, when you were little itty bitty babies and your mamas and daddies were protecting your dopey does, guess what? You were protected. You were safe. You were living in a good America. Now look at you. You defy your families. You disown your mothers and your fathers because you don't like Trump's administration. You throw up your activist arms, and then when they cut you off of food stamps and EBT, you run home crying to mommy like babies. Even though you disowned them not that long ago. This all runs into the same issues. The same issues. You don't, if you're in this country legally, good, great, wonderful, terrific even. If you're in the country illegally, you need to either become a legal citizen of this country so we know who is in this country. Because not knowing, do you guys know that there's sleeper cells, Iranian sleeper cells all over the country? From the DOJ, they said, or Homeland Security, one of them said it, that there was sleeper cells in this country somewhere. Why? Because people aren't vetted. Why? Because people aren't checked. Why? Because we got ICE people like New York City and LA fighting ICE at every turn. People like Chicagoans fighting ICE. People like Portland, of all places, fighting ICE. I think of Portland, I think of a hick town. I don't know. It's a little itty-bitty place, isn't it? It's a little spot on the map. It's not anywhere near the size of LA, New York, Chicago. Major cities. All are fighting ICE, back and forth, fighting ICE. For what? Stop. And now you guys want to Mamdani to be mayor? That's like having Biden run the city.
Silence is deafening, but the irony is staggering, despite their...
Put it this way. People like Zoran Mamdani and AOC and Bernie Sanders which cracks me up. They sit there and say they're going to do this, the rich do this, the rich do that. Do you know that they are a part of that rich group they're talking about? They are the elite. You do know that, right, New Yorkers? AOC, one of the elite. Bernie Sanders, one of the elite. Mamdani, one of the elite. Because he's not wearing cheap jewelry, that's for sure. He's always clean cut, nice suit. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the point is he's one of the elite. And yet, they bust on the elite. Make it make sense. Because the only one socialist society help are the leaders. It doesn't help the average American. It won't help the average New Yorker. The only person that gets their pockets lined are the people in charge.
Chance of tax the rich coming from the crowd.
Breaking news that's taking over headlines. A billionaire just stepped in to do what Washington couldn't. Meet Timothy Mellon, the mysterious heir to one of America's richest banking dynasties.
Okay.
Now revealed as...
I want to skip past that because we know that he paid it.
Not open the government, and if it were just so
Yeah,
easy
just
for Republic.
so you guys know. I don't want to hear about the Republicans having majority. You have to have a certain amount of signatures. He's going to explain it, I believe. But Chuck Schumer and the rest of the Democratic Party are solely responsible for this because they were all for that bill until Trump made it. And then they were going to sign off on it 6 months ago or whatever it was. And now they're not. Baloney. They're just using it as a hostage thing. They're holding our government hostage to get their way so they don't have to, so they can get millions of free health care for illegal immigrants. Because now illegal immigrants cannot receive SNAP benefits. They cannot receive Social Security. They cannot receive any of those things that are government funded. And that would include Section 8. That would include food stamps. That would include any kind of governmental aid. So this is why they're doing that. That's why. Because they want them to have at least free health care.
To do it, it would have been done already, but it's hard to get 60 votes when you don't have 60 seats.
That's why. The Republicans would have passed the bill. Would have went over the Democrats' head if they had enough people, but they have not enough people. They need, I think, 6 people to come across the aisle. And Chucky Boy won't do it. So Chuck Schumer, I'm not voting for you again. I am not going to vote blue ever again at this rate. The Blue Party used to be the party of the working class. Now they're a party of the libtards and illegal class.
Meanwhile, they ignore the issues and move to create more dependency and even greater division. And so as the socialists surge, glosses over critical issues that...
Oh, do you know who else was a socialist at one point? Vladimir Putin. Now look.
threaten New York's future.
Just saying.
One glaring example is the city's reliance on programs like SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance.
That's going to be gone, just so you know. Because that comes from funding. Through taxes, through American tax dollars. That is, the SNAP program is going to be gone. And they're going to limit it so much and limit Section 8 that there's not going to be any more lifers. And what I mean by lifers, you guys know what I mean by that. I would hope. People who basically have child after child after child. Like there was a woman that has 7 kids by 7 different baby daddies, and she has an 8th one on the way. 8 kids, can't take care of none of them. None of them. Getting Section 8, like $5,000 a month in food stamps, which was ridiculous. Gets her rent paid, electricity. She doesn't pay for anything. Literally anything. She doesn't need to work because she doesn't need a job. Well, all that is ending. All of that is ending. Now you are only going to be able to get SNAP benefits if A, you're a legal citizen and can prove that you're a legal citizen, and B, if you work 20 hours a week or volunteer, I think 20 hours a week. Something like that. So the SNAP benefits are going to be gone, pretty much. Section 8, not a thing. So where's Mamdani getting all this money?
Program. With 42 million Americans potentially facing SNAP benefit cuts, Mamdani's supporters focus on the loss of aid rather than questioning why so many are dependent on it in the first place. But let's be honest here, folks. Yes, there are some people and families who truly need the help, the aid and assistance.
And I honestly feel bad for those people. The people that are elderly who cannot work. The people who are disabled who cannot work. Those people that have children who are disabled and they have to be home with them. Those people I worry about. Mom of 8 kids with 8 different baby daddies, I'm not worried about her. No.
But for the most part,
because ew.
SNAP,
that's nasty.
EBT, food stamps.
Didn't your mama and daddy raise you better?
Is a grift used by the people who are not actually in need, but rather instead figured out how to game the system and get away with it. I mean, there's no way to make this make sense, folks, but there are some EBT recipients now threatening to leave the country, planning on leaving America if...
Please do. Please, I'm begging you. If you say I'm going to leave the country because I'm not going to get my EBT, I'm not going to get my SNAP, please, please, I'm begging you, do so. I want to see that. I want to see a mass exodus because we've already gotten rid of a bunch of celebrities who were against Trump. So they're all gone to different countries. I'm hoping they don't come back. I really hope they don't come back, especially that Rosie O'Donnell. Ugh. Anyway, nasty woman, from what I can tell. But, because all she does is hate on Trump. That's her whole life. Like, you gotta be better than that. Like, this guy is just a man. Yes, he's the president, but he's just that, just a man.
A lot of injured workers are stuck.
He is not.
Food stamps.
He is not a king. He is not a god. He is not anything. He's a man. That's it. And there are people who hate him so much that it consumes them. That is demented. Literally so demented. And yet these people want somebody like Zorhan Mamdani because they think he can get them all this free shit back. He can't. This is what you don't understand. He has very limited power. Being the mayor, yeah, he'll run New York City to a certain degree because he still has people that he has to answer to. There's still checks and balances, city codes, city ordinances. He has to sit down with city people. He has to have a whole thing. He can't just pass something and make it a law. Just like he can't just take funding from one thing and put it into another thing. He can't do that legally. He has to take everything he does through the council. And that's what he needs to, people need to understand. So all this free shit he's promising you, he can't deliver on. Other than maybe the free buses. I don't know though. But I can tell you right now, he can't get 90% of what he's telling you he's going to do, he's not going to do.
I used to get $740 a month for my 2 kids. And we're not getting EBT no more. They took the EBT.
Okay, now, normally I would feel almost bad for somebody like this, but when you watch him, you're going to see why I don't feel bad for him, and his bum ass needs to go to work.
They're saying I got to work 20 hours a week. I'm not working for nobody. Get the out of here.
What, are you too good to do a manual labor job?
This is what Americans, taxpayer, What for?
Who's us? So the American taxpayer should be just giving you free food, free everything? No, get off your lazy butt and work. If you got kids, get a job. You're a man. Take care of your family. Shame on you.
For us. They work for me.
But I'm going to skip past this obnoxious jerk.
Of reliance. This dependency undermines the work ethic that built New York. Yet the socialist narrative ignores it, promising more handouts without addressing the root cause of poverty.
And the fact that he can't just give out more handouts.
Mind you, these government-run free grocery stores and handouts for everyone, yeah, well, they've all failed. Every single last one of them. Elizabeth, Alexandria, Kathy, Bernie, Zoran. And I want you all to take a look at this. And yes, it should anger you. Seeing this should piss you off.
That really does. This is insane. Illegal alien EBT food stamp balance, $13,000, 401. So $13,401. There are people, elderly people, vets, that are eating cat food because they can't afford any kind of meat or any kind of food. And then you got this moron, this person, this illegal immigrant who gets $13,000? Are you insane?
But that isn't really why.
They need to be booted out of this country unless they become legal. And all that, that's why people aren't getting, you want to know why you're not getting your food stamps in November? Because of cases like that, where illegal immigrants are getting $13,000. That's why the coffers are dry.
I wanted to show it to you. However, you can see and read here, Gunther Eagleman says, this should piss off every American taxpayer. And you can see how here, an illegal alien's EBT food stamp balance rests comfortably.
Oh, and his cash balance is, I gotta get up there,
At $13,401.
I think that says $4,498 is his cash balance. That is disgusting. Do you know what you have to do for the Department of Social Services to give you cash assistance? And I guarantee you that person is working illegally. I guarantee you. This is the problem. You want to know why? All you people out there want to know why you're not going to get your food stamps in November? Because of illegal immigrants like that who are getting $13,000 in food stamps every month. And $10,000 in cash assistance. This is where the money went. So you want to know why you're not getting food stamps? Ask your local government why they're giving $13,000 to illegal immigrants for food. Do you get $13,000 in food stamps? I think I saw one woman who said she got $5,000 once. And that was like a bunch of back pay. It's disgusting.
There's more. Because like I said, let's be honest here. Yes, there are some people and families who truly need the help, the aid, and the assistance. But for the most part, SNAP, EBT, food stamps, or whatever you want to call them, is a grift used by the people who are not in need, but rather, instead, figured out how to game the system and get away with it. And this just reveals a much deeper issue here as generations, some since the 19...
There was a woman, which is absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to keep going on with him. I'm going to let him. But check him out. If you want to see the full story, check him out on YouTube. Kevin_24x7 on YouTube. Give him the like, give him the love. But it's absolutely ridiculous that things like this are happening. When during the Biden administration, this flood of illegal immigrants came into our country. Some of them were Iranian sleeper cells people. Okay, all these people came from all over, flooding the border, busloads, truckloads, the whole nine, getting taken to different places and different hotels, giving debit cards with money on them, giving EBT cards with money on them. Now multiply that. That was one person. That was one illegal immigrant and maybe his family, I don't know. One person that was receiving $13,000 in SNAP benefits alone. And 4,000 and almost 5,000. So I'm assuming 5,000 because the way it looked like it had been a different amount. But anyway, the point is that whatever it was, it doesn't matter. You want to know why you're not getting food stamps in November and possibly December because places like New York doesn't have any money to give and they're not getting it from the government? You can ask your local government there why they're allowing $13,000 to be given in SNAP benefits to an illegal immigrant instead of an American citizen. Because that's going on. Now, the whole Mamdani thing, the way I look at it, y'all are going to vote for who you vote for. I would hope that you use sense. Cuomo wasn't perfect, but he knows how to run New York. And no, he's not corrupt. He got in trouble for inappropriate conduct because he gave a woman a double kiss on the cheek, which, by the way, all Italian men do, and gave her a hug. Italian men are touchy. They've always been that. My husband's very touchy. He's always been that way, even when we first met. He gave me a hug and kissed me on both cheeks. Never met me a day in my life. That's how he introduces. This is what I'm saying. That's what it wasn't like he got in trouble for stealing from New York State or lying to New York State about stuff or mortgage fraud like Letitia James is being allegedly indicted for. I don't know. But the point is all of this, none of that. That's what he got charged with. That's what they wanted him to step down over. So Mamdani Cuomo is not corrupt. He wasn't corrupt. So that's a lie, straight up. And the other thing is, Mamdani, denounce those things, and every New York City person, ask them. You got time before you vote? Ask them. Today was the first start for early voting. So ask them. Before you cast your vote, New York City, ask Mamdani to denounce shria law. Otherwise, LGBTQ+++, bye. You might as well get out of this state because there's no way you'll be allowed to be that way. Because shria law explicitly comes from the Quran, I believe, and that explicitly forbids it. From my knowledge. I could be wrong. Please don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I don't know for a fact because it's been a while since I've read the Quran and I'm not 100% on shria law. There are people that are much smarter than me about it. But ask him look up shria law, look up what it entails, look up what shria courts are, and then ask him if he's willing to denounce it, to say, I would never. I guarantee he won't do it. I guarantee you he will not do it. Well, that's my morning rant for today, Mamdani. and the rest of the candidates. Good luck to you all. New York City, please vote for Cuomo, not Mamdani.
Fostering a culture of entitlement rather than self-reliance.
Because
Now,
our country
this
is definitely going to go to pot, especially New York State, if Mamdani becomes mayor. Because once they become mayor, they go to governor. And once they become governor, they go on from there. Maybe Senate. Point is then he can make laws. So eventually it affects all of New York. Right now, he's just going to be affecting a little portion of New York. New York City. Yeah, it's the biggest part of New York, but that's not the point. The point is that you guys are not even realizing what you're doing. Because you want to know what's going to happen to New York? Businesses like J.P. Morgan, bye. AT&T, bye. Multi-billion-dollar companies that are down in New York City. Investment firms, tech companies, already said they're leaving New York if he becomes mayor. The rich new part of New York, old rich New York that built New York, will leave New York. And then, where's that money coming from? And all that free stuff he's talking about, he's not going to be legally able to do it. So, maybe think about that before you, and really look into Zoran Mamdani before you vote for him. Because college kids especially, please do your research. Your mamas and daddies are sending you to college so you could get an education, not just have a party and march in some activist thing. Please do your actual research on Mamdani. And then go with your core values. That's all I want to say about that. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. God bless. And remember, New York, the rest of New York is counting on you. Please, vote Cuomo, not Mamdani. Shit, if you want to vote Suila, I don't care. I mean, if Suila dropped out, Cuomo would win. He hates Cuomo. He's as bad as a Trump hater with that. Because he doesn't like Cuomo. He despises him. So he won't drop out, which would make Cuomo win. Because the voters that are voting Suila would vote Cuomo. They would not vote Mamdani. Because Suila and Mamdani, totally different views. So the people that are voting Suila would vote for Cuomo, not Mamdani. And then Cuomo would win, not Mamdani. But that's not going to happen because Suila never drops out, even though he has no shot. So come on. Let's get this stuff together. Let's get this stuff together and let's get it done and over with. Let's say no to Mamdani, yes to Cuomo, no to Hochul, and yes to red. Let's flip New York red because honestly, to be true, all this liberal nonsense is destroying our country. All the, oh, you want to get a free ride is destroying our country. All this division over the illegal immigrants is destroying our country. And the saddest part about all this, these people don't even realize it. Illegal immigration, every single fucking president, with the exception of Biden, ran on illegal immigration and mass deportation, including Democratic leaders. So maybe instead of always bashing Trump and bashing Republicans, maybe actually do your damn homework and check into stuff. And I put a post because I had seen, and I wonder if anybody could tell me if this is true. I mean, I could Google it, I guess, but I want to look something up because I heard a post not that long ago where a guy said that the Democratic Party was the party of the white caps. You know what I mean by that? The white outfits, those evil, evil people. Yeah, that was started by the Democratic Party, apparently, allegedly. Don't know if it's true. Like I said, I don't know if that's true. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm saying I heard that. That group, of course, every group that's bad started out with good intentions. Originally, it was only a movement. And then it turned into a much larger movement and they went crazy. And guess what? It was indeed started, from what I heard, by the Democratic Party. Like I said, don't know if it's true, but so these Democrats and these socialists really crack me up. We got the Democratic leaders like Schumer who are holding the government hostage. And then you got people like Mamdani who refuses to denounce shria law, who guarantees a fight against Trump for illegal mass deportation, even though all that's going to happen is the military will be brought in. And they'll take him anyway. And of course, he wanted to defund the police. What happens when that happens? Crime rates go up. So get ready, New York. Your crime rate's going to skyrocket. And it's all because of Mamdani. So maybe do your research. That's all I'm saying. You want to vote Mamdani? Vote for Mamdani. But do your research first. Don't be one of those people that just vote because it seems like the end thing to do. Oh, well, all my liberal friends are voting Mamdani. I might as well vote for him too. No, actually, maybe look into it and do your own research. Because you could, a vote, one little vote can change the election. Good, bad, or otherwise. So maybe look into it first. That's all I'm asking. Look up shria law and look up Mamdani, whether or not he condemned, I think it's condemned shria law, whether or not he denounces shria law, because he practices takiti, which last I knew was the radical form of Islam. And I don't know though, there are a lot more smarter people than me when it comes to that kind of thing. But all I do know is if he is a radical, he will impose shria law. Because that's a radical move. So, New York, be smart. Do your research. We've stopped socialism before in New York. Are we going to really allow it now? Come on, guys. Be smart about this. Do your research on Mamdani before you cast your vote. Thanks, guys. And like I said, Cuomo wasn't perfect, but at least we know he can run New York. God bless.